Right, let's bring you a breakdown of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Retired Ekurhuleni Metro Police Deputy Chief Rivo Spies has once again taken the stand at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, this time revealing disturbing details about rogue operations within the EMPD. Spies has testified that private security units were allowed to operate if there were official EMPD officers, complete with blue lights and branded vehicles, a move he says dangerously blurred the line between law enforcement and criminal impersonation. He went on further, linking CAT VIP Protection, the private security firm owned by businessman Vusumuzi Cat Matlala, to a high-profile robbery attempt at OR Tambo International Airport in 2022. According to Spies, CAT VIP was involved in a joint operation with EMPD and other law enforcement units, raising serious questions about the legitimacy and oversight of such collaborations.
CAT VIP and Bad Boy Security as the private security could have been the informants, or they could have received the information, and they therefore are assisting the Hawks to actually do the operation because they have access maybe to Swissport Cargo or to the information where it was. So from my understanding, from what's standing here, is that CAT VIP and Bad Boy Security is involved with the Hawks. They are supporting them, and that the STF is obviously necessary because it's a high-risk robbery that's going to take place. That's my understanding from this. The K9 law enforcement, I wouldn't know who it was. It could be Ekurhuleni. It could also, because it's a year before it even happened, and this was just sent as WhatsApps, which I didn't really even care about it. It was like someone made them up just to send to me to say, yes, here is successes to prove that we do with CAT VIP.
Now, still on Spies, he has also expressed disbelief that a controversial and allegedly fraudulent memorandum of understanding with CAT VIP Protection still remains in effect. Spies told the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry that the agreement signed back in 2023 by suspended Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi, while acting as chief of the Metro Police, unlawfully granted the private security firm access to EMPD surveillance systems. Now, this included tools to monitor suspects, track criminal movements, and assisted the arrest of highly trained repeat offenders. He says the MOU effectively outsourced core policing duties to a private company, leaving EMPD operations hollow and insufficient.
The one thing that I want to highlight on this first one with Medicare 24 is that if on page 30, and I've actually, maybe Advocate Defensive, if we can just highlight that specific paragraph, because when we start the investigation, this paragraph jumped out at us to say, but yes, vehicles that's being registered onto our name from a private firm or security company that we will use. But this paragraph is completely against any police training knowledge that I have. Is that, and maybe if I can read that into record, is that EMPD will assist with registration of vehicles under EMPD as official vehicles, and we will be permitted to use blue and red lights to respond for and on behalf of EMPD. The cost of this will be for Medicare 24 and Bus Protection Services. That's as if we outsource law enforcement now to a private company, to say you will respond on my behalf, you will actually act as a policeman. That's what this MOU purport to be. And that's why when I read this, it is so wrong that every fiber in my body jumps up to say, but this is wrong. There's something horribly wrong in this matter. And that's why the registration of the vehicles that is on our name actually red flagged. And the investigation initially say, but here is something much deeper and it's very wrong. And that's why we start with the disciplinary inquiry misconduct investigation.
All right, for more, we cross to SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga, who's at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry for us at Pretoria. Good afternoon, Canny. A number of revelations being brought to the fore today, one of them being the encroachment by CAT Matlala Security Company into functions that remain the sole preserve of SABC, such as clearing crime scenes and conducting investigations. Just take us through what the Commission has heard thus far.
Well, good afternoon to you, Mfundo, and to the viewers at home. You're incredibly inaudible there. However, we have been hearing evidence relating to the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department and the extent to which the alleged rot took place in that particular institution. Now, we are hearing that through the evidence that a lot of these alleged EMPD officials were engaging in conduct that went way beyond the scope and mandate of the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. And we're also hearing evidence that under the alleged parallel structure of Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi, there was a lot of formalized actions or operations that would take place. And although there was no record at the EMPD, it seems that those operations were seemingly geared towards actions of illegality. You've seen that a number of CCTV evidence has been placed before the Madlanga Commission. That is the evidence of Yaku Hanekom, the informant who was sadly killed after some of these officers got bail in their cases, showing that EMPD officials would go to several incidents or locations under the guise of formal operations. But what was taking place was blatant illegality, according to Spies. And once he got that footage, he handed it over to IPID, who was conducting some of those probes against those particular EMPD officials. So we're hearing in various instances where that it not only is limited to this issue of the blue light saga, where we're hearing that CAT VIP Protection Services, that is the private security company of alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Cat Matlala, was allegedly given those blue lights to conduct crime combating operations. We're seeing that the culture or the alleged culture of illegality in the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department is extending far beyond this particular incident and the alleged beneficial relationship that Matlala enjoyed, but is of course extending to its ranks as well, as we're seeing several footages being placed before the commission where you see that there's evidence of an operation taking place. There's no record of it at EMPD, but then what we understand later on that is uncovered that it's alleged operations which are illegal and are sought to, I guess, further crime by those particular EMPD officials. What is interesting is that at all times these EMPD officials are identifiable in that CCTV footage. Some of them are using their official uniform in the footage, so you can identify that they're actually members of EMPD. But what is actually truly taking place, according to Spies, in that particular footage are acts of illegality or unlawful acts, or rather, let's put it quite plainly, crime taking place, being furthered by those Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department officers. We expect that at 2 p.m. this afternoon, he's going to continue with some of that testimony and what IPID's response was in the face of all of this alleged illegality.
Canny, thank you very much for that comprehensive wrap. That's SABC News senior reporter Canny Maphanga, who continues to monitor proceedings at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry.